My guest tonight might say, I told you so. What?
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
A very key leader in labor is my guest tonight, and he and I have had conversations about infrastructure for a long time, and he's been trying to have conversations with the general community for a long time. Now, look, anytime we talk about labor, everyone stands up with an instinctive, ready to get to battle type of disposition. And I really have never seen it that way. And by the way, the term labor is overarching. There's all types of labor organizations. But you can't deny that the people who build things are really important to us. And when we talk about the 195 situation as another example of, yikes, our infrastructure is in trouble, it's important to talk about the labor component. If you build it, they will come, is an old phrase from a famous movie. But you got to build it right, and you got to build them on time. And I think we are, in general, in America, suffering from a lack of attention to this. And I think our latest situation and its inconvenience has highlighted, hopefully for everybody, that there is a much more marketable conversation for the electorate about investment, perhaps even past where we are. So we'll get into that this evening. But you remember, and for those of you who aren't experiencing this commute challenge, congratulations. This headline, this is from a little way back. Of course, we're living with this now for the last few weeks. And one of the things that I think a lot of people are doing are calculating their ride now over the bridge. The most recent story we had on this from last week from WPRI put a clock on it. A little different than my clock, but here's their clock.
Yeah, it's painful.
Drivers who have to cross the Washington Bridge are not happy, as some of their commutes have more than doubled since the bridge shut down.
It was 8 minutes. Today it took me 15 to 20. Sometimes at night it's closer to a half hour.
A RIDE-Out spokesperson told me that traffic is moving well again, but all we've really noticed are long lines at the highway. So they referred us to their time travel dashboard, and we wanted to check just how accurate that is. Time now is around 12:30, and it says it's going to take us 27 minutes to get across the Washington Bridge.
Slowly but surely, we inched our way forward, and after waiting in line for 27 minutes, we were still a mile away from the construction site, where the 4 lanes didn't even begin to merge. But we did keep steadily moving, eventually crossing the bridge and reaching the I-95 split in 37 minutes.
It's kind of a little unpredictable.
Drivers who still take the detour route say they don't really notice much of a backup.
So it's been fine.
But when it comes to getting on the highway,
It was pretty jammed up.
RIDE-Out says it will cost about $5 million to fix the bridge. That's on top of the $78 million bridge project. Crews have cut holes in the top of the bridge to bring down the repair materials to be installed. They're also building access platforms below the bridge deck for crews to work on. In the meantime, those on the road will just have to be patient.
No doubt, no matter what your challenge is, patience is absolutely important. I will tell you this, notwithstanding the earnest data in that report, my commute from the Salty Brine Broadcast Center for my weekday radio job on WPRO, Wampanoag Trail down to 195 and then trying to get through. You know, in the acute days, it was like heck. I went to Seekonk, Rehoboth, through Pawtucket, you know, that kind of thing to get home. But I put a clock on it, and what is usually a 2-minute span on a non-traffic day from the trail getting to where the, you know, free again type of feeling where the highway opens up, it's a couple of minutes. Now it's 10. So I'm adding 8 minutes to a 2-minute ride. But it doesn't double my commute. It just adds 8 minutes. Make any sense? We're all doing those calculations, and none of us like it. And I think it's probably important for us to talk about the big picture. So wide out to my guest, as we say in the business. Michael Sabitoni is the General Secretary, Treasurer, Labor's International Union of North America. And that is, by the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
That is it's a new gig.
It's a new gig.
Big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill, effective May 1st of last year, and yeah, hit the ground running. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Your uncle has been in that position for a long time. His retirement blissful?
Well deserved. 24 years at the helm prior to myself as Secretary Treasurer of. I think we got 540,000 members across the United States and Canada. So yeah, we have a lot going on.
You know, I tell people often, you know, there's a little bit of local boys done good type of stuff that every once in a while when it comes by, you want to point out, and we have all those kind of things. And yeah, it's not necessarily the same thing, but when I take somebody on a tour of Providence visiting for the first time and I show them the building down on, is it Water Street or Main Street?
South Main Street.
It's South Main, but you see it from Water Street. Or that's the headquarters for the whole shooting match.
That's the headquarters.
For the whole caboodle.
Well, that's the headquarters for the state of Rhode Island. In the state of Rhode Island, we have 7 local unions of close to about 12,000 members.
But you're operating out of there.
I operate out of there, but we also have a building a couple blocks down on South Main Street, which is actually the regional office, which covers the 6 New England states and about 90% of New York as well, which covers about 62,000 members in the New England region. So,
okay.
So, and then our main headquarters is in Washington, D.C.
Right, but you've got that. I mean, that's now your.
I'm back and forth.
Your domain. Quick take.
Yep.
I saw you at one of the press conferences with the daily updates on the bridge. You nudged me and said, "Hey, listen, I got a point of view on this. You know, certainly I got questions, but what's your quick take?" As I introduced the broadcast, saying, "You might want to say I told you so." I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you've got kind of that disposition.
Yeah, well, as a representative of the building trades, you know, we've been advocating my whole career for investments in infrastructure, big investments, especially in you know, roads and bridges and all kinds of investments that we've deferred for far too long. And unfortunately, we're seeing the results of deferring our needed investments in our infrastructure for a long, long time. So we still have a lot of work to do, not only on the Washington Bridge, but around the state of Rhode Island as well. We've done some good things, but we still have a lot of work to do. It's just unfortunate that, I'll say we kind of ran out of time to an extent, because we've been trying to shore up that bridge for a while. You know, we've got bridge construction going on at the Newport Bridge. We have interests on the Mount Hope Bridge. We've got, I think, a little over 1,100 bridges in the state of Rhode Island. You know, over half of them were deficient. We fixed, I think my last guesstimates from one of my last meetings with the Department of Transportation, about 300 of them, but we still have about 800 to go. So, yeah, it's just, you know, everybody wants to, I'll say, point a finger, but nobody should be surprised because we haven't made these investments in a long, long time.
All right, so when you say we've fixed, you're talking about the workforce.
The workforce.
The contractors, the workforce.
Department of Transportation.
Sure, but you feel what kind of relationship with the Department of Transportation? A partnership,
Absolutely.
Explain that dynamic to me.
Partnership, because the biggest client, I will say, that we service as the building trades is the Department of Transportation. They're the biggest user of construction services, not only in the state of Rhode Island, but across the country, because of what they have to manage. So I'd say half of the membership, maybe 60% of the membership that we represent across the 16 trade unions that I also represent as president of the Rhode Island Building Trades, work for the Department of Transportation through contractors and subcontractors all across the state.
And conversely, data-wise, there's nobody working on a construction site on our highway infrastructure system that's not a member of your union.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So there's that partnership is it internationally is a interesting dynamic with government.
Most areas it is, especially when you have large, complex projects, because of what we provide with our training and our skill sets and our apprenticeship programs and all the things that we bring to the industry, stability, so that we can provide companies the manpower that they need, whether it be laborers or iron workers, carpenters, cement finishers. That brings stability to a very, demanding industry, which is construction, which is why construction is a little bit different than any other industry.
Tell me about the contractor environment. I think people are intrigued and sometimes ill-informed, myself included, on how this whole thing works. Director Alviti, who's naturally at the head of this and comes under some scrutiny and will come under further oversight scrutiny. Talks about a failed relationship with a prior contractor, Carty Corporation, which seemingly is running out of business because they've got some spots that I'm familiar with in my commute, Mendon Road and Cumberland being one of them, where the bridge work stopped. So I think they're being replaced. And then this new contractor came in and seems to be working in sync with the state. What is your relationship vis-a-vis DOT with the contractors themselves? Is there friction there?
I wouldn't necessarily say friction, but there is, depending on a particular project at any given time, unfortunately from time to time, disputes and change orders, and sometimes a contractor might say that it was a design flaw and the owner or client, in this instance for the scenario you're using, Department of Transportation would say you didn't build it to spec. So the vast majority of the construction projects that we do have very minimal disruptions of that nature with change orders and disputes, I'll call it. But unfortunately, there are instances where we've had issues that arise. The Washington Bridge was one of them. Not the Washington Bridge, the new Henderson Bridge, and we also had some issues down on the 610. But if you look at the enormity of work that's constructed, it's not a norm, but unfortunately it is a norm in our industry on particular projects from time to time.
Well, you've got a fascinating position in all of this, in this place, whether it be a private client, somebody building, say, the Fane Tower. We were talking about that, which never came to fruition. But listen, there's hardly anything that you won't want to build. All right, so let's not kid ourselves. We can
build it. If you don't like it, we can tear it down and we can build it again. We can do it again.
Well, but that sense of humor is applicable to your position. As long as you've got activity for your membership, that is probably your number one priority. Correct?
It is, and again, when you look at how complex it is to actually design something, to engineer something. To have a project go from a conceptual idea to actually building it, there are so many moving parts that go from here to here that it's just the nature of what we do that from time to time there needs to be changes to the design potentially.
And what role will you play? Would you play a role because you're representing the workforce, and obviously you've got arm's length, frictional, but compatible relationships with contractors because they've got to bring the workforce, and then there's the client, in this case the DOT or maybe a private developer. Do you get in there and go, hey guys, you know what? We don't like the timeline on this. Our guys are telling us that no matter what you've contracted to do, this needs to change. Do you get into the metal of that?
We do on a smaller scale on things where we can identify things on the ground, where the men and women that we represent. On the larger scale type things, when it gets actually back to design, we would participate in talks at that level, but we do have input, and we do quite regularly what we call LM meetings, labor management meetings, where all the contractors come in. We go over where we're at on a particular project, looking at the schedule, the scope, because the other thing that's difficult, especially in the vertical side of the industry, building buildings, is you've got all these different companies, right? You got to do this before you can do this, before you can do this. So you have to coordinate all these different companies coming in with all different trades that are coming in. So it's, I don't want to say controlled, I won't even use the word chaos, but construction is not an easy thing. And then everybody at the end likes to see the finished product, but there is a lot of moving parts that go into building anything.
Yeah, I find it to be a fascinating process. More questions on the nature of the business when we come back.
What's the plan? And how do we lower the inconvenience of something that could have been a very disastrous potential, and that's what we avoided. And now we're dealing with an extreme matter and a highly inconvenient one for people in this, that are using that bridge.
Right, just part of the updates that the governor and the director of transportation were bringing. Bigger picture in a second on this particular Washington Bridge situation. Are you blown away by the nature of the find, the way it was found? Do you find? I'm guessing you'd welcome oversight as well.
I do.
Yeah.
I believe the system worked. I was on the radio show a couple weeks ago, and the fact that we identified it before something happened, we have a pretty robust bridge monitoring program now because so many of our bridges are in structurally deficient
Again,
category.
when you say we,
the Department of Transportation does their checklist and has bridges that they are monitoring, including the Washington Bridge. Does the union organization have input even into the monitoring program? I happen to represent men and women at the Department of Transportation as well in my public sector local unions, Labor's Local 808, Labor's Local 1033, engineers, bridge maintenance. So yeah, we have a pretty robust program.
Would you, a viewer is probably asking themselves, are you able to be objective about the whys and wheres of how that bridge became a liability?
I could say it this way. I mean, you don't have to be in the construction business industry. You don't have to be a structural engineer. You don't have to be, you could just look sometimes at things, like for instance, you remember the 610 connector.
Right.
You can look at that and just say, this doesn't look too good.
Right.
Or you drive under a bridge and you see it cribbed up with a bunch of wood. That doesn't look right. And the wood's only supposed to be there for a short amount of time. And again, we've had shored up bridges and we've gone back and shored them up again because we couldn't get to them. And we're dealing with decades of deferring and maintaining our bridges because we have a good program now.
And you were squawking about it for a long time.
Long time, because one of the other things, and I've been in the business 37 years, one of the other things that would frustrate me is we would go build a bridge or a structure, and then we would never put any money towards maintaining it, right? If you think about it, it's a hell of a lot more money to replace something than it is to maintain something. But then every year you have your constraints and you have to prioritize your needs.
It's not fair for me, I think, probably to ask, all right, Michael, what is your role here in adjudicating the nuts and bolts, literally, all pun intended, of what happened to Washington Bridge? Because you do play a different role in this situation. Your advocacy for labor, again, being your #1 priority. But look, I've come in my mature years to understand that advocacy for labor is not a bad thing. And I would think that there's something that, when I say not a bad thing, there's a lot of taxpayer versus labor arguments, especially in public labor situations, and I think all of them are circumstantial and need to be taken from a zero-based point of view on that particular item. But it is clear to me that not unlike other industries, nurses, doctors, teachers to some extent, that we're in trouble. We need more. Gosh almighty, do we need more laborers? Don't we have? Do you believe that we have that some of the tension in America about this conversation has perhaps led to an overemphasis on academia for kids growing up? Send them to college, send them to college versus send them to trades where really lucrative jobs can be had and are needed to be filled so that we've got enough people out there, personnel, so contractors can hire people to be ahead of. Right. Are you with me?
Yep, and we had that conversation, I believe, on the last time I was on the show about needing more men and women to enter the construction industry. It's never been a better time. The needs are definitely there. I mean, we're getting ready to start a very robust and continuing school rehabilitation program, which was another mind-boggling thing. If you might remember, around 2009, 2010, even though we knew the buildings were crumbling and we were just putting, Band-Aids on those structures so that the kids could get back into class, we deferred any school construction. And now we're dealing with that. right? So every city and town is
Do we
passing.
have enough qualified labor to do whatever we discern the job is to be done?
We have great demands on the workforce currently, and we're going to continue to have great demands.
So is the answer no?
We have the ability to skill up, but do we have what we need currently? There's a great strain on the workforce right now, and you know, we're going to need to recruit thousands of men and women in the next decade that are going to want to be laborers and carpenters, and there's never been a better time. And you can make a good middle class living with good benefits. You know, it's a tough industry. There's a lot of times, you know, on the roads and the bridges, you're out in the elements, right? And the other thing that
It's
people don't
working
realize,
for a living, man.
yeah, when you come over that bridge and you see it's snowing and rain, the men and women, they're still out there.
Yeah, I know.
Right? And that's the you know, the occupation they've chosen.
When we come back, a final thought in that category. Stay with us.
We know this is going to cause an inconvenience to commuters, but we needed to do this for the sake of everyone's safety.
Obviously, again, we're not here to try the big picture was my goal here. Don't you think we have to change, not unlike police who are in trouble right now with culture, with some of the friction in the communities? We have to bring pride back to policing. Don't we need to when a kid says out of high school, Dad, Mom, I don't really want to go to college. I think I want to do something different. We need to applaud that.
We do, and we've made great.
Long term, won't that help?
It will, and we finally have gotten the attention of educators, the Rhode Island Department of Education, various school committees, superintendents, guidance counselors. We had a seminar last spring. We're going to start doing them every 2 years. We're embedded in a lot of the career and technical schools where people are starting to get that not every young man or woman is going to go to a four-year college, right, and this is an alternative. And the educators are buying onto it and going, not only is it an alternative, it's a damn good one as well.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, listen, we'll be in touch. Thank you for your perspective on this. It is a little bit of I told you so, isn't it?
Yeah, I told you so.
It's a little bit.
Happy New Year.
Yeah,
thank you.
Final word when we come back. Listen, on this question of the bridge, you know, oversight is mandatory. The administration is already contracting out for an outside view. The politics of this, though, will be very interesting. The Senate, the House, and their oversight, we'll see if they can offer a constructive view of our construction needs. But that will be a day-to-day thing, and we follow it here and on the radio as well. You have a great night.